Educational Psychology Video Blog by Fatima Bibi Mohammed. After watching the video, I have realized that I have learned a lot. I have learned that both education and psychology go hand on hand, as you need both to be able to understand the whole theory. My perspective has changed to a great extent. I have learned that educational psychology has helped many people, as it is now recognized all over the world. Educational psychology has always been underrated, but now many people have understood its importance. Psychologists now are able to present their skills and knowledge to learners as well as to parents. After reflecting the whole module, I have understood that without the help of psychologists, many learners struggle with lack of understanding, as well as they are not able to explore their development of needs. Thus, psychologists assist learners in understanding their own progress and capabilities. With educational psychology, I have learned that if a child comes from an insecure environment, a broken home, or if a child lost a parent, these children struggle to cope in certain aspects of learning as compared to children that come from a normal home with both parents living together with a fully functional home. Educational psychology is about educational, informational, and practical learning. After navigating through this module, I have learned that educational psychology has been in the course of change and development for the past few years in our country. I have now understood that this psychology supports education and education supports psychology. Educational psychology is all about how children study and behave, how they process their emotion and thoughts according to their age group. I believe that psychologists should motivate learners and help learners in developing their curiosity. I believe that the role of an educational psychology would be to understand the learners and be able to gain their trust as well as their attention for better communication. I have learned that psychology is the substructure of education, thus, it is very effective in every field of education. Educational psychology does affect learning and teaching. Educational psychology study how learners react to emotional and social stimulation. Whether they are at the actual level or reacting to emotions, learners have different ways of socializing as well as behaving in unexpected situations. I believe that psychology benefits in physical and academic growth of a learner. Psychologists use their skills and knowledge to evaluate the learner's difficulties as they might have towards their learning process. Thereafter, they evaluate and identify the learner's emotional, social, and mental behavior towards learning. This helps the learner recognize their own performance as well as their own strategies. As for teaching, an educator is not able to teach without having the knowledge of educational psychology, as it is one of the most important subjects in the course of becoming a teacher. I believe that to become a competent teacher, one needs to understand how science of educational psychology works. Also, One needs to know about the types of knowledge as well as the technological devices. A reflection on overall module. My first topic is the terminology task. In this task, I have learned about the relationships of education and psychology, the changing roles of educational psychology, and its importance. I have learned that psychologists evaluate and identify the learner's emotional, social, and mental behavior towards learning. To become a teacher, one needs to completely understand the science of psychology and on how it works. Also, I have understood on why the psychology should be part of every school as they understand the way of thinking and development of the learner's learning process. My second topic is teaching and learning policy. In this task, I have learned about its purposes, aims, display, as well as the curriculum. I have understood that educators have the responsibility to ensure that they provide an environment which stimulates learning so that learners can attain their academic, emotional, and social potential. Also, it is vital to develop the learner's self esteem to ensure that they are confident in learning and to perform their best. Furthermore, educators should ensure that all equipments in the classroom are accessible to encourage learning and that every lesson should begin with a positive attitude in order to create a positive learning environment. My third topic was application of bioecological model. In this task, I have learned about systems that refer to our lives. How in each step in our lives we go through a system that understands us completely. For example, individual system refers to the child's personal life. The microsystem refers to interactions to our family, friends, and teachers. This application of bioecological model was amazing and I have understood its effects in our lives. For my fourth topic was an essay of short article and I chose the Children's Institute welcomes ruling on hitting children. I believe that showing compassion and to learners is essential to prevent antisocial behavior, mental health problems, as well as aggression. Also, learners, if treated with dignity and respect, will learn to treat others with kindness and love. Thus, I do not support hitting on children. It may be at home or at school. Hitting is definitely not an option. Reflection that made the most impact. I would say it was the terminology task and the teaching and learning policy. I have understood how the child's mind works and in which levels. I have also gained knowledge on what is the requirement needed per age of each child. I have learned how well learners must be prepared to cope with the expectations of the school, as well as they must learn all the skills necessary to become a successful learner. Even more, I have gained knowledge on how, as a future teacher, I will be able to understand and deal with learners' behavior as well as the learning ability and disability of each child in the specific age group. To conclude, educational psychology helps learners who have difficulties in communicating with teachers and other pupils, as well as reacting to their own learning ability. Also, all schools should have an educational psychologist to help learners mentally, socially, and physically to become a successful learner.